Hello everybody and welcome to Red's List. Before we get started on the video, I just wanted to tell you guys thank you guys for watching. And I will warn you now, we only had one camera. And this is a discovery flight, so it's not like I was running the plane or doing solos or anything like that. So they were not going to let us mount cameras all over the cockpit to get different camera angles. And we were not plugged into the radios to where you were getting the radio communications on the camera. So I had to turn the volume way down as it was very loud inside the cockpit from what the camera picked up. But it was a really short flight. Obviously I'm not going to show the whole thing. We basically took off from Grand Prairie in Texas, looped around Fort Worth, and then back to Grand Prairie. And I'll give you some of the footage, but like I said, it's one camera. So you're not going to get the full thing you see on some of the other ones. If you ever do get a plane, we'll look at doing that. He was actually letting me do some of the controlling the plane while taxiing to the runway. Obviously he went on the runway, but it was a little bit more difficult for me, never done it before, than I thought it would be. Actually keeping this thing straight on the line. I mean, I would go too far to one side or overcorrect, go too far to the other. I finally got the handle of it enough for us to get to the run-up spot, and then he actually pulled onto the runway, and obviously he's the one that took off. Now he's reaching over, he's checking the magnetos now. Doing the pre-flight checks. See the difference in sound when I finally shut the window on it. And this is the part I was really worried about my wife kind of freaking out, as she always has had a fear of heights. But the whole purpose of this was to see how she would do, to see if she could handle it, because if she can't handle being in the plane, then there'd be no sense in me going through this, because kind of the whole thing of it is there's a lot of places I would love, to fly, to take her to things to go see, events to go to, fly-ins and stuff like that, and even just flying to one of our favorite vacation places on the beach. If she wasn't going to like this experience, it would kind of be pointless to do it. But here we go, now we're on takeoff. I actually put a smile on my face when we got up off the ground. She didn't freak out. Her response was, "Oh, this is cool." I was happy about that. She had told the CFI that she had a fear of heights, so he keeps turning back and asking her how she's doing. You'll kind of see it throughout the video. And once he gets up to about 1,000 feet, he hands the controls over to me. He tells me to climb up to 1,500 and then maintain that. And I had to make a couple of small turns. There was a tower we had to miss, and another plane that we had to move over a little bit for. And this guy knows that I've never flown a plane before, so he does keep his hands on the yoke for a while anyway, so just in case he has to grab it. And then he'll take his hands off and actually let me fly the plane for a little bit. It was a little bit bumpy out there, as you can see on this, but I would imagine that's probably pretty normal. there's a tower in front of us, and I just kind of need to move over and get away from the tower. Also, there was another plane, like I was saying a while ago, that we needed to kind of avoid and get out of the way of. But I mean, we have plenty of distance. It's not like it was really a factor. But just to be on the safe side, keep as is, it's supposed to be bouncing around like that. We were hitting a little bit of turbulence, actually more than I thought we would, because there really wasn't a whole lot of wind, but just so many thermals coming up. When I got up that morning, it was like 86 degrees. By the time we got to the airport, it was about, I think, 95. And then when we took off, I think it was 98, and then it got up to, I think, just over 100 degrees for the day. But there was a lot of thermals out there. I really didn't think it would affect that plane that much, just the thermals coming up. But I actually had a hard time maintaining altitude. And like at one point in time, he tells me, you know, stay at 1500. And I kept climbing up and trimmed the nose down, and it still kept climbing. And I got up to about 2,000, and then luckily right after that, we, you know, got a call in telling us to go up to 2,000, which we were almost there anyways. Just something that was kind of cool. You know, I've never seen, you know, the town I live in, I've never seen it from the air. So this whole thing was kind of a cool experience. I will say, for all you pilots out there and student pilots out there, a lot of you guys in these videos make everything look so simple and so easy. And I'm guessing over time you do get used to it, kind of like driving a car. Everything you do is instinctual. You've done it so many times, it's so repetitious, you don't even really think about it when you do it. Never done this before. I was constantly having to think about everything I was doing. I mean, keeping the plane level wasn't really that difficult, but I can see where doing everything that you're doing, controlling the plane, flying the plane, especially during turns, talking to ATC, changing frequencies, watching your gauges, watching outside, watching for traffic. The multitasking involved in flying a plane is actually more than what I thought it would be. So I do have a newfound respect for you guys that make this look so easy, and I hope at some point in time I will be able to get to that point as well. But being the first time that I was in the plane, ever taking control over the plane, it was definitely a little bit overwhelming, and it didn't hurt my feelings at all that, you know, he wanted to make this turn around Fort Worth. I really didn't want to, you know, never flying a plane before. I was really nervous about doing that. I mean, I was probably white knuckling the yoke anyways. So let me know in the comments, have you guys ever been that way? You guys out there that are pilots, student pilots, former pilots, CFIs, whatever, when you first started, the first time you took control of a plane, not necessarily your first solo, by then you've got experience, but the first time you ever took control over a plane, were you nervous? Were you just gripping that yoke as hard as you can? Did you have to kind of tell yourself to ease up a little bit? Did the movement of the plane, the ups and the downs, did it kind of make you a little bit queasy? I didn't get queasy out of it, but it did kind of make me a little bit, I guess, kind of uneasy. You know, I'm not really used to that. I guess in time you'd get to where it's no big thing. The whole thing was a completely new experience to me. I was nervous, very nervous, taking over the flight of this, the controls on this plane. I do want to go up and do another flight similar to this before I actually jump into it, just to make sure that, see if now that I've done it, if it's a little bit, more comfortable for me to do it, and see if I can do a little bit better at maintaining altitude and paying attention to what's going on than I did on this one. And if so, then of course my next step would be going and get my doctor's visit out of the way to make sure that I can actually qualify to get a pilot's license. And then we got to see what we can do for funding. I do say I am kind of hooked on this at this point, so I really hope you guys enjoy it. You guys that are into aviation, thank you for kind of going on this journey with me. You guys have gave me a lot of pointers and comments on other videos. But just kind of kick back and enjoy it. I hope you guys like the video. You can kind of see, the movement of the plane. That's just not her back there shaking around. This thing does have quite a bit of movement in it. In case you guys are wondering what kind of plane this is, for those of you that couldn't tell, this one is a 2001 Cessna 172 Skylark. And this is definitely a busy plane. I looked up the numbers afterwards. Before we got home, it had already made another flight. My son looked at it, and this thing made like 6 flights in one day. So they definitely use this plane a lot. But I guess I'll kind of have to remember this plane, the end number on this plane, because it is actually the very first plane I ever flew. Hopefully there'll be more. I would like to get my license, but this one is the very first plane I have ever flown. This part was really cool to me. We were flying directly over AT&T Stadium. And right next to that, if you guys know anything about Arlington, is Globe Life Park and Globe Life Field. That was kind of cool for us as well. But now we're getting close to the airport, and you can't really tell it from this audio, but he goes damn near down the idle, trying to lose altitude, because this plane is not wanting to lose altitude at this point. And we'll see if you can notice when we get closer. Now we're actually coming in. He's got this thing turned kind of sideways, and the plane is angled down. He is trying to slip down to lose altitude, because this plane's not wanting to come down like he's wanting to. So it's not just her leaning, it's actually going to be the pilot trying to lose altitude. And we still ended up missing our exit off the runway and had to do a 180 and go back to it. Comment she makes to me, "You're not gonna land it, are you, dear?" That was funny. Like, she actually thought that they were gonna let me land a plane. Never flying one before. But right here you can see the angle of the plane. She's saying she'll probably puke after she gets out. She did really good though. I was proud of her. But look at the angle he's got this plane in, trying to lose altitude and get back down to the ground. And we are down the ground. Thank you guys for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed it. It was, after all, my very first time to take the controls of a plane. Leave it in the comments below. Things that you saw, if you might have noticed something, other than the fact that I had very little knowledge on what I was doing. But leave some comments down below. Things you think that might help me out in the future for you CFIs out there, and whether or not you were nervous at the time you were flying. Thank you guys, and you have a good day.